Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We've got a major update in the Sean Diddy Combs trial that just broke within the last few hours. Prosecutors have made some shocking moves just one day before closing arguments are set to begin. If you want to stay updated on this historic case, make sure to hit that subscribe button and let's dive right into what happened. Federal prosecutors have officially abandoned several key allegations against the music mogul. Now, before anyone gets confused, let me be crystal clear about something important. Sean Combs is still facing the same three main federal charges. If convicted on all counts, he's still looking at potentially life in prison. What prosecutors did do is streamline their case by removing certain allegations that were part of the racketeering charge. Specifically, they're no longer pursuing attempted kidnapping, attempted arson, and certain aiding and abetting trafficking allegations. This is a strategic legal move, not a victory for the defense. Let's break down exactly what prosecutors are walking away from and why this matters. First, the attempted kidnapping allegations. The government was trying to prove that Diddy kidnapped his former employee Capricorn Clark, allegedly taking her to a building where she was given a lie detector test to determine if she stole Diddy's jewelry. They were also alleging he kidnapped Cassie Ventura by holding her at the London hotel. According to legal experts and reporting from TMZ and Fox News, prosecutors apparently felt they couldn't prove these allegations beyond a reasonable doubt. Second, the attempted arson charge. This one's actually pretty surprising. Prosecutors were claiming that Diddy tried to blow up rapper Kid Cudi's car with a Molotov cocktail back in 2011, allegedly because Diddy was jealous that Kid Cudi was dating Cassie Ventura at the time. But here's the thing, during the entire 6 weeks of testimony, prosecutors never directly linked Diddy to this fire. Kid Cudi himself testified about the incident, but the connection to Diddy was apparently too weak to pursue. Third, they're modifying some of the sex trafficking charges by removing the aiding and abetting elements. Instead of arguing that Diddy helped others commit trafficking, they're focusing on proving that he directly committed sex trafficking himself. Now, why would prosecutors do this right before closing arguments? It comes down to legal strategy and jury management. Former federal prosecutor Niyama Rahani explained it perfectly to Fox News. He said, and I quote, "There are no charges being dropped. The prosecution's legal theories are essentially the same. The government is no longer pursuing the attempted kidnapping and attempted arson as predicate acts for racketeering. But they can still argue that the completed kidnapping of Cassie Ventura and Capricorn Clark and completed arson of Kid Cudi's vehicle are RICO acts." Basically, prosecutors are cleaning up their case to make it easier for the jury to understand and focus on their strongest evidence. Think about it. You're a juror who's been sitting through 6 weeks of testimony about alleged sex trafficking, violence, and coercion. The last thing prosecutors want is to confuse you with weak allegations that might undermine their stronger claims. The judge, Arun Subramanian, had actually been pushing for streamlined instructions to the jury, and this move aligns with that goal. It's better to have a focused, winnable case than a sprawling one with weak points that the defense can attack. So, what does this actually mean for Diddy and the outcome of this trial? Honestly, probably not much in terms of the potential consequences he's facing. The core of the government's case remains intact. They still have testimony from 34 witnesses over 6 weeks, including Diddy's ex-girlfriends like Cassie Ventura, former employees, law enforcement agents, and others. They still have all that evidence about the alleged freak-offs, those drug-fueled sex parties that are central to the sex trafficking charges. They still have financial records showing how Diddy allegedly used his business accounts to pay for hotel rooms, flights for escorts, and other logistics for these events. The defense team, led by Mark Agnifilo, called for a judgment of acquittal after resting their case, but that's pretty standard. The judge reserved his decision, and the fact that we're still moving forward with closing arguments and jury deliberations suggests that motion was denied. What's really interesting is that Diddy's defense didn't call a single witness, not one. They rested their case after presenting just exhibits and cross-examining prosecution witnesses. This could mean they feel confident they've already established reasonable doubt, Or it could mean they simply don't have witnesses who would help their case. Here's where we stand right now. Closing arguments are scheduled to begin Thursday and are expected to take Thursday and Friday. After that, the jury will get their instructions and begin deliberations. We could potentially have a verdict as early as Monday, June 30th, though complex cases like this often take longer. The prosecution spent over 6 weeks building their case, calling witnesses who painted a picture of Diddy as someone who ran a criminal enterprise through his businesses. They showed explicit videos, text messages, financial records, and heard testimony about alleged violence, coercion, and abuse spanning decades. The defense's strategy has been to argue that while Diddy may have been violent at times, the women involved voluntarily participated in these activities. They've tried to show that Cassie Ventura, in particular, sent enthusiastic text messages about participating in these events, suggesting she wasn't coerced. One thing that's been striking throughout this trial is the presence of Diddy's family. His mother, Janice Combs, and his children have been in court regularly, presenting a united front despite the disturbing nature of the testimony. Look, at the end of the day, this move by prosecutors is about legal strategy, not about Diddy's guilt or innocence. They're streamlining their case to focus on their strongest evidence and avoid giving the defense ammunition to create reasonable doubt. The core allegations remain deadly serious. We're talking about potential sex trafficking, racketeering, and decades of alleged abuse. The fact that some predicate acts were removed from the racketeering charge doesn't change the fundamental nature of what prosecutors are alleging happened. We're about to see closing arguments in what has been one of the most high-profile criminal trials in recent memory. Make sure you're subscribed because I'll be covering the closing arguments and the eventual verdict whenever that comes down. What do you think about this latest development? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.